On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Childhood photos are reminiscent of a life lived innocently. They are capsules of timestamps, memories painted on paper that are relived in every viewing. For some, it's a reminder of a life well lived, and with the ones around us, a sense of belonging. Susan Baumgartner looks at her children's timestamps often. She came to Belize in 1989 and describes the event that followed as a God story, as she and her family would be challenged soon after with several opportunities of fostering children in need.
We were doing some helps and intervening in those crisis situations. In most cases, the children were not able to go back into the original family. And so children need mom and dad. They just need a home. They need somebody that will stick with them, that will be there for them, that they can just be part of a family and home. So no matter which children came into our home, we always just tried to make them feel as part of the family. And so then after some time, we pursued the adoptions. You girls have a cookie for you, right?
She's a mother of 8 with 2 biological sons and 6 adopted children. Today we met her with 3 of the adopted 6. But over time, this selfless family has fostered up to 9 babies in need. Now, Susan wears the pride of her growing family and the elevation to grandmother status.
We've fostered 9 malnutrition and neglect babies over a 5-year time, and then 7 stayed with us. And now we are at the point of adults and grandchildren. They come from several different birth biological family settings, but we have melded into a family. So they don't consider, oh, I'm a biological sister. No, they're sisters and they're brothers. And so it doesn't matter where they came from, it's a family unit.
The Department of Human Services is the central authority when it comes to adoption and international child abduction in Belize. Director Sean Vargas explained how the department's unit of child placement and specialized services supports displaced children.
There is the foster care where parents can foster children for any period of time. There's the respite care where you can host a child for a weekend or a holiday or the summer. The Easter time, we are open for that. And of course, there is the other component where you can come to the facility and volunteer.
According to Vargas, a child's placement in a children's home is last on the spectrum. The ministry's continuum of care considers family first, thereafter foster care placement.
The probability of adoption in foster care is significantly higher than those that the children in institution, because within foster care, the parents, there's we develop the family camaraderie, the love, everything is genuine within that household, and the possibility of adoption is faster for us. That's what we have been seeing.
Vivian was one of the first babies fostered by her family. Her mother, Susan, recounts the backstory of how they met and how she knew Vivian would be family.
The way we had found Vivian, we had gone to visit in Belmopan a friend, and this gentleman said, oh, I just visited the hospital and I saw the worst malnutrition baby I've seen in years. And so before we went back south, we stopped by the hospital and met Vivian for the first time as a 5-month-old, very underweight, very malnourished. She was a happy baby, she recovered well, she was easy. And then when we went to take her back, the family wasn't receiving her, so she stayed. And so I knew from that day she was my baby. She was my girl.
So I came to them at 8 months, and they're all I know as parents, and they did a really good job at making me feel like one of their own. So as far as like sending me to school, like taking me to all like my regular doctor checkups, family vacations, stuff like that. They made me feel like their own child.
We also met her sister, Asana, who was fostered soon after, also as young as 8 months old.
I don't think like I've ever had a moment where I felt out of place or not like family, because like this is just it. Like there's nothing else.
We grew up like very close to each other, so like people would, and they still do to this day, get us like mixed up. They would call me Rosanna and her Vivian. I'm like, no, I'm Vivian and this is Rosanna.
What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Yellow.
We have fostered and adopted children with disabilities, actually 3 children with disabilities. And at the time when they were little, we didn't know that that would be the case. Each individual has that value on their life, so helping them achieve what they can achieve. So with special needs, I had to do the homeschooling because they couldn't handle the school settings. And so I had to dig in that way myself. And for example, Ricky, he can read and he can do quite a few things.
Now, Suzanne can be proud of the adults her children have grown to become. And Vivian has even taken the course of service to children that come from similar circumstances she and her siblings originated from.
I'm a community development officer and I'm attached to the child placement and specialized service. And so my responsibility is to write reports for like custody, guardianship, and adoptions. I think it's rewarding because like I work with a great team within my unit and they've really done a great job in like welcoming me and training me to like give like service to like our clients and stuff. And so, and many of whom have like been a part of my own adoption process. So I feel like it's rewarding for both them and I.
It's really amazing to see all that you go through, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, and then to come to that place of, yeah, she is right back being able to serve the same type of situations that she came from.
The impact of adoption and foster care goes beyond the placement of child to a family. A chance of a family is also the molding of a future. And in Vivian's story, it's the molding of a future for children just like she once was.
What are you feeling?
Like a sense of gratitude because I know it's such a big sacrifice and commitment and dedication like for my mom to, you know, come from the US and like live in Belize and dedicate her life to raising kids that weren't her own, but still like treating us like her own. And like not one day did she ever make us feel like we were adopted, you know?
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.